What the hell? The Lobster, released in 2015 and is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, who has also directed such films like My Best Friend, Netta, Dogtooth, and The Favorite. And this film is starring Colin Farrell, Rachel Weisz, John C. Reilly, and Léa Seydoux. After his wife divorces and leaves him, David applies for membership at a very strange and remote hotel. And the hotel manager informs David that he has 45 days to find a mate here at the hotel, otherwise he will be turned into an animal of his choosing. Of course, that being a lobster. So David spends the next 45 days trying to mingle, flirt, and potentially mate with another person in the hotel. However, between all of this flirting, the members of the hotel are required to go out into the woods and hunt down and tranquilize all of these single homeless people who wander the woods. And I don't think that synopsis even begins to describe what this film is. I'm having trouble describing what this film is. After I watch this movie, I'm thinking to myself, how do I even grade this? How do I review this? This movie is so freaking weird and strange. And I don't want to say it's like abnormal or anything, because what's normal, really? It's just not something that I'm accustomed to. This film is distributed by A24, which is a film studio that's really gained a lot of ground in the last decade, producing a bunch of films that have a very indie feel about them. Films that are being made by the filmmakers. There's no, studio consensus, there's no studio mandates for anything. This is, hey, if you're a director, if you are an artist, this is your art, go ahead and film it, we'll make it for cheap, and we'll release it and make a lot of money. And a lot of big-time actors, big-name actors, sign up for a lot of these films, especially when they're trying to take a break from the big studio, maybe blockbuster films from other studio heads. So you get actors like Colin Farrell and Rachel Weisz showing up here. Heck, even John C. Reilly. But this movie is, independent of indie films. It's like an indie film. It's like if the movie Independence Day had a baby with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Hermie. Because they're, what is the word? Independent! What the fuck was this movie? The best way I can describe this movie to you is that it's an examination of our societal concepts of the importance of relationships and the importance that we as a society put on being in relationships or not being in relationships. There's basically two sides to the coin. Either you long for a relationship and you need to be in a relationship, and once you're in a relationship, you look down on everyone else who is either single or not looking for a relationship or got out of one. And then there's that side. It's the single people. It's all the single ladies. All the single ladies. And guys too. There's plenty of guys in there too. I just wanted to sing the song. But the single people have their mindset that, hey, we're independent, and we listen to this type of music, and we can do whatever we want. We can have sex whenever we want. We can go anywhere, whenever we want, do whatever we want. We don't have to be relying on a family. We don't have to be relying on a spouse to tell us what to do, or worry about what we're going to do and how it affects them. And it looks at the societal norms of these two sides, devoid of any emotional connection. There is no emotion here. There is no sense of happiness. There's no sense of joy. There's no sense of sadness or anger or fear. Emotion is absent with this film, which I'm sure is very much intended by the screenwriter and the director. How many romantic comedies, how many dramas are out there that examine a relationship gone bad, or two people trying to form a relationship but they can't due to another relationship that they're in, or due to the culture that they represent. Here's a look at relationships devoid of all of that. It's just, hey, here's a absurdist, dystopianistic future or possibility, and here you go. We give you 45 days to find someone who's going to be your spouse for the rest of your life. If you don't do that, you get turned into an animal. Colin Farrell chooses to be turned into a lobster if he doesn't complete that task. Because they live well over 100 years, their blood is blue, I guess is one of the reasons that he has. He has a dog that he brings with him to the hotel who apparently is his brother, because he went through this whole process and he failed, I guess. Which, spoiler alert, that dog dies in this film because the person that he's trying to court, or at least to save himself from being turned into an animal, figures it out and takes it out on the dog. and she is devoid of all emotion. Fucking bitch. Sorry, anytime I see a dog dying in a film, or even worse, being killed in a film, whoever did the killing deserves a very painful death. There's no other words for it. Screw you. I think this movie reiterated my disliking for absurdist theater, or absurdist plays, or absurdist films, novels, just anything absurdist, because I just don't, it's not for me. I'm not saying it's bad in any way, I'm just saying it's not for me. I don't get it, I don't like it. And that's the hard thing that I'm having with this. It was an interesting movie. It just made you feel uncomfortable. Just the coldness that these characters have, that this atmosphere has. It's it's brilliantly done, but what is done is so annoying me. This film is just so confusing. It's shot beautifully. The music of this film is haunting. It's eerie. It's a bunch of strings playing very high-pitched notes, weird-ass chords and weird-ass rhythms. It makes you feel uncomfortable. Just because it makes you feel uncomfortable, again, doesn't mean that it's bad. Oh my god, I'm having such a hard time here. This movie is definitely not for everyone. This is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. If you're open-minded to, I want a nice little think piece, or I want a film that's going to make me question everything, or maybe look at something in a totally different way, and I'm totally open for that, then this probably is for you. But if you're looking for kind of like your standard just drama dealing with relationships, this is nowhere close. And I think there's a brilliance behind this film. Just when I watch movies, when I watch art, I want there to be some type of connection between what I'm seeing on screen and me, and in my soul, and something like that, but there wasn't that connection. So because of that, I think that is going to play into my score of this film. I'm going to give The Lobster 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
It's just fucking weird. Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos, where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next, and the next one is actually going to continue our week of screeners and things from gingernutsofhorror.com. This was actually an independent film company that reached out to me asking me if I wanted to review their film, so whenever a film studio does that, of course I'm like a dancing monkey. Yes please, give me screeners. I love it. It's freaking awesome. This one came from Twin Hearts. It's a movie called The Hex. H-E-X-S, or it's also H-E-K-S. I don't know. Try to look up information before I watched it. Sometimes I see it as The Hex, other times I see it as Hex. I'm like, is this the same movie? I have no freaking clue. But the big selling point behind it is a horror film that was directed and produced in South Africa. They just kept hounding that home, so we'll check that one out next time. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, you can leave a recommendation below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter, leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. And if you want me to do your recommendation as quickly as I possibly can and bypass the whole random generator that I have here, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do, just attach your movie with the donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it and publish my review of it as quickly as I possibly can. So guys, have you seen The Lobster? What did you think about it? I'm very curious to know what you thought about it. Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so the next time I'm releasing next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of The Hex, or Hex, whatever it is. In the meantime though, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care guys.